tell us how you started the mentoring program at New Dawn?
Well, when we originally opened, we didn't have a formal mentoring program, although it had always been in my head because I always kind of felt that the one-on-one was something that had helped me in my own education. So I felt it would help our kids, particularly who had been so disenfranchised. So when we opened, we started with advisories. Then it became clear, and that was just, what are you going to do when you grow up? What's your career goals? Things such as that. But it became clear early on that those handful of teachers could not mentor the entire student body. There was also the consideration of we really wanted every adult in the building to feel responsible for the outcomes of students. So therefore, I thought about it a little more and decided that seriously, every adult in the building needed to have a crew of mentoring. A mentoring class, so to speak. Now, so we implemented it in that way where literally anyone who received a paycheck from us had at least 6 students on their mentoring list that they were responsible for.
What advice would you give to anyone that is looking to start a mentoring program in their own schools?
I think the most important piece of advice is don't give up when it doesn't work. When we started it, it didn't work either. Part of adding, and this is a huge added responsibility because these are the people who are what's going on at home, how do your grades look, what's going on. I mean, literally they're involved in all aspects of the students' lives, and you will find that you have adults who are not very good at this, who need training. You will also find adults who are just anti-mentoring because it's an additional workload responsibility. So when it doesn't work, and it won't work when you roll it out, give it a year or two, and really, eventually people will start to see the meaningfulness to students of the mentoring. They will develop their own relationships, they will start to really like students, and it will work at the end of the day.
As a result of these interventions, can you just quickly share the information about our persistence and graduation rates as compared to other transfer cohorts?
I can share ours. I have not done a comparison to everyone else in terms of the persistency rate. Our persistency rate is always over 81%. Now, anybody who works in a school with a highly migratory population knows 81% is very, very high. And I do believe it's because the kids come back to meet with their mentors. In terms of graduation, we do outperform close to 60% of the other transfer schools in New York City, and I do firmly believe that the way you keep a 20-year-old with 8 credits in school is to develop a personal relationship with them, and I think it's had a huge impact on our outcomes.
Okay. All right. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with your mentor.
Me and Miss Kim, actually our relationship is very good. I tell her everything about myself. I keep it real with her. She keeps it real with me. She tells me about my grades, and I make sure to be on point with my grades. And whenever I do have an F, she'll tell me and she'll make sure I fix it that same day too. So ain't no failing in mind at all.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about your relationships with some of the adults in the building, if you want to talk about your mentor or the teachers and why that's important to you.
My relationship with, I'm gonna start with the adults. Like, it's pretty cool. Like, nothing much. Just try to push me to do better with my class and schoolwork and to pass my classes. My mentor, which will be the tall, what's his name? The tall guy?
Mr. Mimno?
Yeah, Mr. Memo. It's cool. I see him here and there, like once in a while, and we just work on. Well, he just teach the class, and I just read it. That's about it. Any more questions? That's all I got right now.
Well, I'd like to know, has there been like a specific time where you've had to rely on an adult on the building to, help you overcome something? It was an issue with schoolwork or a personal issue?
Not really. The most they probably did was to push me to pass the class for the end of the semester, and that's what I'm doing.
Okay, well that's good. That's really good. If you had advice for other adults and working with kids, what would the first thing that you say to them be?
Advice for working with kids?
Yeah, so the people that are watching this video will be educators and school leaders. So what advice would you give to them in establishing a relationship with students like you? your age.
to continue to push kids to like pass that class, and most likely they will probably pass that class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.